So do you ever feel like your favorite hobby is starting to feel kind of boring or old? Like you still enjoy it, but just doesn't have that same spark that it used to? You're not alone. The problem really isn't our hobbies, but maybe just how often we're doing them. And I'll give you a personal example. So for me, I typically play video games after work, but if I just do that day in and day out, it just doesn't hit the same. I just feels like I'm starting to go through the motions. So a week ago, I had the idea to just blare some music in my living room, dance around and do push-ups like an idiot, and then of course naturally watch a space documentary that blew my mind. And so I felt reinvigorated after doing that, like mentally and physically. And it actually inspired this video idea. And then the next night, when I went back to my video games, I just enjoyed it more. So in this video, we'll be talking about how switching up your hobbies can make them more fun. And turns out after a bit of research is better for your brain. So the first thing we'll talk about is the kind of habit loop trap. We naturally fall into our routines without realizing it. You know, we get home from work or school, we eat dinner, and then we typically do the same thing night in and night out. It's comfortable because we're used to it, but then it becomes predictable and stale. And psychologists say that we adapt to our pleasure over time, where the most fun things can still lose their spark if we repeat them too often. And studies have shown that when people eat their favorite food daily, they start to enjoy it less over time. It's not that that food is not their favorite. It's simply that they've been just eating it too much. So how do we apply that to our hobbies? Have a couple in rotation, and we'll talk about different examples of things that you can try in a little bit. Before that, let's talk about the next main point, which is how variety of different hobbies can help our brain and keep it young. Neuroplasticity, my favorite thing to talk about, is the brain's ability to adapt, and strengthen your neuroplasticity when you expose your brain to new challenges in different activities. So you become a little bit mentally sharper, building different neural pathways when we have multiple hobbies. A University of Texas study found that senior citizens who learned multiple new skills like photography or quilting showed improved memory and cognitive function compared to those who just had the same old routine. Brain imaging shows that musicians who played multiple instruments have denser gray matter, which just means that they have stronger brain connections. So for us with our hobbies, doing different things keeps our brain sharp. It's like if we had a mental gym. If we just do the same activity, it's like we are just doing bicep curls over and over, keeping our arms strong, but we're neglecting the rest of our body. Having different hobbies keeps us engaged in different areas of our brain. Now, we're going to go back to how taking breaks from our hobbies can be more enjoyable, starting with this thing called the spacing effect, Ebbinghaus memory research. So that effect, the spacing effect, shows that information sticks better when studied in intervals rather than all at once. And the same can be said for our enjoyment. Spacing out activities increases pleasure because you're giving your brain more time to reset, giving back that novelty and making it feel more fun again. So for example, let's say watching our favorite show. If we were to watch one episode or 1 to 2 episodes a week, it feels special. It feels like a treat and it's really enjoyable. Or if we binge watched it in 2 days, it feels like a blur and the 5th episode is not nearly as fun or as exciting as the first episode. Another example of this is a weekend getaway, which feels amazing when you had a hard week of working, versus if you were always on vacation, the excitement simply wears off. So the point is, mixing things up keeps it enjoyable by spacing them out. So here are some now examples of different hobbies that you can do to try to incorporate to have a steady flow or a steady different menu, so to speak. So watching a documentary on history, space like I did, or nature. Maybe learning a new musical instrument. If you play video games, maybe try a board game or a card game. Go for a walk in nature. Maybe do something physical like dancing or yoga, stretching. Read a new book or listen to a new podcast on a topic you don't know anything about. Maybe try cooking a new recipe that you find online. Now, the key is to just experiment. Not all these things are going to hit. Half these things may be boring or you don't like them, but the important thing is to stay curious and to have mental flexibility, and you may discover that you like something that you totally didn't expect. So keep all this in mind if your hobbies start to feel dull, and it's not that the hobbies are necessarily bad. Don't quit them, just rotate them. Have a couple things in the bag that you can pull from to keep everything fresh and enjoyable, and trust me, your brain will thank you for it too. So if any of this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Are there any hobbies that you tend to maybe do too much and could use a break from? If you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more on all types of things on mindfulness, mental health, self-optimization, philosophy. Anything I like to talk about is talked about on this channel. So thank you all, and I'll see you guys next time.